Hello, I'm Grayson Ottaway. This is Marvelous Videos. The Mortal Kombat games have introduced a plethora of mind-boggling good and evil characters. One of these characters, Shinnok, is among the evilest villains in the Mortal Kombat realm. He is a fallen, angry, and potent elder god of death. Shinnok, in contrast to Shao Kahn, depends more on charm, dark abilities, ancient relics, and manipulation than on physical force and instilling terror. In Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 in 1995, Shinnok is initially presented as an unidentified, malevolent, enigmatic, fallen elder god who is revered by a group known as the Brotherhood of the Shadow. He's subsequently given his full name in the character's conclusion. As the non-playable final boss of Mortal Kombat mythology's Sub-Zero, Shinnok makes his formal debut. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video to learn more about Shinnok. But before we get into our explanation, a very small request: if you like us, please support us by subscribing to this channel. Small click for you, but it means a great deal to us. Thank you.
Death to all. Shinnok wins.
And who is Shinnok? With wisdom and power accumulated over millions of years, Shinnok is the lord of the Netherrealm. He can assume the identity of any chosen being and enlarge himself into a demon. He's incredibly shrewd and can control events by manipulating other people. As an illustration, he forced Shao Kahn to join Earthrealm and Outworld against the wishes of the Elder Gods in order to severely weaken both realms and make them open to incursion by the Netherrealm. Shinnok desires unshakable trust and fidelity from his followers and would not waver to annihilate anybody who harbors even the slightest suspicion that he could be vulnerable to challenge or to threat. Shinnok cannot be killed. Instead, he can only be disabled or imprisoned within his own amulet. The Titan Kronika, who served as the first Keeper of Time, is the mother of Shinnok. Cetrion, who is his sister, is another elder god. It's revealed in Mortal Kombat 11's narrative mode that Kronika wanted both of her kids to fight for an eternity in order to preserve a balance of good and evil across the worlds, with Shinnok standing for death and Cetrion for life. All the kingdoms are suffocated by this design, since it forces them to compete all the time for dominance. As a result, neither Shinnok's exile nor his final confinement in his own amulet, nor Cetrion's betrayal of the Elder Gods presented a threat to her plan. Raiden, however, fatally upsets this equilibrium by beheading Shinnok and rendering him eternally helpless. This infuriates Kronika, who then begins a series of events whereby she tries to turn back time and usher in a new era in which Shinnok and Cetrion may continue their dueling indefinitely. Raiden doesn't exist in this timeline to stop them. Shinnok has the appearance of an extremely tall guy with a lean physique. His skin is totally white and rotten from his corruption and captivity in the Netherrealm. His eyes frequently change from white to green. Shinnok mostly wears a blue robe with golden embellishments for formal occasions as a jab at the Elder Gods and a nod to his royal heritage. His most distinguishing characteristic is the divine red crown that he wears. In the original timeline, because of his ambition for power and more particularly his goal to seize control of Earthrealm, Shinnok fell from grace. At the beginning of creation, when the realms were first established, Shinnok yearned to govern Earthrealm and therefore amass enormous power for himself. However, Shinnok could not infiltrate Earthrealm if the Elder Gods were aware of his deeds. Shinnok made a potent amulet, weakened the spatial boundaries, and infiltrated Earthrealm to address this problem without explicitly disobeying the holy laws. He faced up against the thunder deity Raiden during the battle he waged against his brother gods. Raiden had to decide whether to sacrifice Earth's native peoples or hand up control of Earthrealm to Shinnok. As the conflict came to a close, the Elder Gods helped Raiden in his fight by interceding on his behalf. Shinnok was destroyed by Raiden, who also took away his amulet and his position as an Elder God. After that, Shinnok was exiled to the Netherrealm's most remote areas. The spatial bonds between the realms were drastically weakened due to Shinnok's defeat and the Saurians, Earth's native life form at the time, who were almost wiped out. Shinnok was subjected to continuous torment in the Netherrealm by Lucifer, the ruler of the realm, before coming into contact with a sorcerer named Quan Chi, who could traverse the realms at will. Shinnok was at his mercy. Quan Chi would help Shinnok depose Lucifer, ascend to the throne, and govern Netherrealm. Quan Chi received enormous abilities from Shinnok as compensation for his work. Shinnok elevated him to the position of Arch-Sorcerer of the Netherrealm, and he became his most dependable ally. Shinnok started assembling his second army of darkness and hatched another plan to leave Netherrealm, but he would need his misplaced precious amulet to achieve that. Quan Chi ultimately located the amulet for him after searching for centuries. Raiden had hidden it in a temple where 4 elemental gods were stationed as guardians. Quan Chi retrieved it with the help of Lin Kuei fighter Sub-Zero, but unbeknownst to Shinnok, he substituted a faulty duplicate that he gave to Shinnok while retaining the original for himself. In deception, Shinnok orders Shujinko to get the amulet and to bring it back to him, saying Quan Chi had fled to Netherrealm City. Shinnok discovers a difference in the amulet when it is given back to him. It is suggested that Quan Chi's phony amulet had been returned. He made good use of his time in Netherrealm by creating a sizable army and the Brotherhood of the Shadow, a fanatical sect of demons devoted to his worship. Tanya, an Edenian woman who betrayed her realm by allowing Shinnok in, was also dedicated to him. He also altered Netherrealm's appearance so that it resembled Earthrealm more. In the end, Shao Kahn's victorious breach of Earthrealm would be sparked by Shinnok. The Emperor of Outworld had already made a deal with Quan Chi through Shang Tsung to have Shinnok restore the soul of the Edenian Queen Sindel on Earthrealm, enabling Shao Kahn to enter there from Outworld. Shang told Quan Chi where Shinnok's amulet was in exchange. By the time Shao Kahn's soldiers were ready, Sindel had been raised from the dead and Earthrealm had been made accessible. Shinnok gave Noob Saibot the mission to observe Kahn's unsuccessful assault, and Noob Saibot ultimately decided to support the Earthrealm troops. After Shao Kahn was vanquished and the Outworld soldiers withdrew, Shinnok's army of darkness launched its own assault on the realms. Its first objective was Edenia. Tanya used her contacts in Eden to get Shinnok and his top general's permission to enter the Tranquil Realm under the pretense of a group of refugees. Shinnok immediately took advantage of this opening to launch a full-scale assault and kidnap Queen Sindel and Princess Katana. Then he started his assault on the sky, where he slaughtered 3 of the 4 elemental gods. Despite all of these victories, Shinnok was visited by the ghost of death. He held a false amulet. Quan Chi held the genuine article. Scorpion caught the sorcerer and imprisoned him in Netherrealm. Many of Shinnok's men were vanquished by Raiden and his warriors, and Shinnok engaged Liu Kang in mortal combat. Despite the evil deity's best efforts, he was defeated by the Shaolin monk, and in the end, Raiden sent Shinnok back to the Netherrealm. Tarvin is first perplexed as to why an elder god would live within the realms in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, but it turns out that Shinnok knew Tarvin and his family long before Tarvin and Dagon set out on their mission. When Li Mei attacks him in Netherrealm, he calls upon Tarvin for assistance, and Tarvin tells her to flee from Lord Shinnok. After Li Mei was slain, Shinnok lied to Taven, saying that he was no longer an elder god since he meddled in the affairs of mortals, and that he required Taven's assistance to purge his sanctuary of the demons. Taven succeeded in completing this duty, but unhappily, as it turned out, that Shinnok had duped him into fighting imaginary figures. Shinnok informs Taven that after he vanquishes Shinnok's Kintaro and Shiva illusions, Dagon has already left Netherrealm. Shinnok was seen to be helping Dagon once Tarvin was gone, and Dagon was discovered to have been lurking underneath Shinnok's throne the entire time. Immediately after, Shinnok started to question his decision to favor Dagon's abilities, claiming that Taven was able to defeat his illusions much more quickly than Dagon. Shinnok also announced the reward at the summit of the Pyramid of Argus to the various warriors, who were assured that the winner would get godlike power. In the current timeline, the events of the game's narrative mode are revealed to have been masterminded by Shinnok, who used his disciple Quan Chi to trick Shao Kahn into infiltrating Earthrealm and merging the realm without succeeding in mortal combat. A Raiden empowered by an elder god defeated Shao Kahn, Raiden, and Raiden then left with the few remaining Earthrealm warriors, Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade. Quan Chi and Shinnok's astral projection discussed Raiden's survival and the success of their scheme. Indifferent, Shinnok predicted that he would soon be liberated and that Netherrealm's impending assault would destroy both Earthrealm and Outworld. Shinnok begins his own invasion with the help of Netherrealm armies and the Brotherhood of Shadow, 2 years after Shao Kahn's invasion of Earthrealm. In order to contaminate the life energy of Earthrealm with death, Shinnok himself travels to the Jinsei chamber. He beat Raiden and Fujin and came close to locking them up in his amulet before being killed by Johnny Cage. As Johnny allies are rendered helpless by an enraged Shinnok, the Earthrealm warrior repels him and hands the amulet to Raiden, who seals the dead elder god inside of his own amulet. Later, as a result of Quan Chi and Devora's schemes, Shinnok is released from the amulet inside the Special Forces facility and effortlessly dispatches the Earthrealm warriors who have all been rendered helpless. He personally travels to the Sky Temple with the Revenants to complete what he began years earlier, to seize the power of the Jinsei, taking Johnny Cage with him out of fear of any further surprises. When he gets there, Bo-Rai Chokon fronts him, but Shinnok easily beats him while a freshly revived Raiden watches helplessly as his friend suffers in front of him. He then leaves his servants to handle him and enters the chamber, making a promise to lock Raiden within the amulet once he is done. He has Devora keep Cage in place with her adhesives as her insects start to eat his insides while she stands by his side. A battered Raiden tries to fight the Elder God as Shinnok approaches the Jinsei, but Shinnok locks him in place with a huge skeleton hand, gravely hurting him. When Shinnok is finally unhindered, he enters the Jinsei and he corrupts it, covering Earthrealm with a blood-red sky that pollutes the entire world. His shape transforms into a far more demonic appearance as his abilities advance. With the Jinsei at his disposal, Shinnok appears unstoppable. However, Cassie Cage, the daughter of Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade, and Kung Jin arrive to stop him. With the Jinsei's full strength, Shinnok emerges from the chamber and dismisses Cassie with ease. Cassie is angered by Johnny's gradual burning of his body as he prepares to murder himself in front of her, and she leaps in front of his last strike. As Cassie stops the onslaught with her body, now strengthened by the same energy that her own father employed, a repetition of what happened 25 years earlier takes place. Despite his increased might, the fallen Elder God is severely crushed in combat by yet another Cage family member. The Thunder God orders the Earthrealm soldiers to place Raiden in the Jinsei chamber once he is liberated from Shinnok's hold. There, the Thunder God absorbs Shinnok's strength into himself in order to cleanse the Jinsei and restore order to Earthrealm. Sonya and the Special Forces capture Shinnok and Devora in prison after that. In the post-credits sequence, a corrupted Raiden enters Netherrealm and cautions Liu Kang and Katana, who are now the de facto rulers of Netherrealm, against posing a danger to Earthrealm, as they would suffer worse fates than death if they do. As the last warning, he displays the head of Shinnok, who has been severed but is still alive. Shinnok was unable to pass away because of his nature as an Elder God, therefore he is now relegated to a catatonic condition. In the Jinsei chamber, the new Dark Raiden is seen using lightning to torture Shinnok in Mortal Kombat 11. Despite his suffering, Shinnok mocks Raiden, saying their battle made him a better person. He also claims that by wearing his amulet, Raiden is able to see the truth of what the Elder Gods denied before casting him out. Raiden warns Shinnok that he will not allow anyone else to harm Earthrealm and that the Thunder God will launch preemptive strikes against those who attack by destroying them first, starting with Shinnok. Raiden claims that the only truth he embraces is that mercy is wasted on those who attack Earthrealm. While Shinnok once more taunts Raiden by saying that he can't kill an Elder God, Raiden responds, "There are fates worse than death." and then uses lightning to forge an energy blade. As Raiden prepares to decapitate Shinnok and send his head back to Netherrealm to warn against anyone seeking to assault Earthrealm, the fallen Elder God discovers Raiden's plot is horror but is unable to defend himself. When Shinnok meets Kronika after Raiden exits the Jinsei chamber, she claims that Raiden has disturbed the course of history. Kronika is eventually revealed to be the one who gave birth to him and his sister, the Elder God Cetrion, to embody and defend her ideal of balance, with Shinnok standing for corruption and death and Cetrion for life and virtue. In the center of this cathedral in Netherrealm, where he was last physically seen, Shinnok was infused with arcs of energy and had his severed head imprisoned inside a spiked altar. With his severed head still there, the cathedral was destroyed by his mother, Kronika, and then built again.
It has something I need. It was with you when you perished on the island.
Shinnok in Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms. As a result of Shang Tsung's failure in the last Mortal Kombat tournament, Shao Kahn declares an invasion on Earthrealm. Kung Lao, Jax, and Stryker fight the Emperor's first wave of the invading Outworld army, including Kintaro, Princess Katana, General Reiko, and Jade. Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade meet the Outworld leaders before they launch their assault. As discussions break down, Liu Kang and Raiden soon join Johnny and Sonya. Shao Kahn emerges, pleading with Raiden to take part in a last Mortal Kombat match that would determine the destiny of their universe one last time. The Thunder God concurs, and he traverses with Shao Kahn to the domain of the Elder Gods to suggest this grand competition. Scorpion, who passed away on Shang Tsung's island, wakes once again in Netherrealm. Shinnok is furious about the death of his beloved ally Quan Chi and has a task for Scorpion. By engaging the Lin Kuei clan, Shinnok plans Scorpion's arrival at Earthrealm to use the key buried in his flesh. The Grandmaster sends Kuei Liang and Smoke, members of Lin Kuei, back to Earthrealm to find Scorpion. They are shocked to see that their lost friends had cybernetic brain biomodifications to consolidate the clan's position, and the juniors are expected to do the same. Liang and Smoke revolt in retaliation, with Liang being the only one to escape safely. The Khitan warrior Devora overcomes Cage at the beginning of the competition, but Sonya defeats Devora and Li Mei. Kang then defeats Jade, and Stryker defeats Baraka. Finally, Jax rips Kantaro's arm, defeating him. Stryker and Lao are both slain by Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn as the final match's second half gets started. Instead of battling Raiden, Katana revolts against her stepfather, only to be defeated. Kang defeats Shang Tsung and spares him despite a setback. The Lin Kuei figure out that Shinnok was their employer in the Netherrealm too late and hear of his scheme to reawaken the One Being and destroy all the realms. They are then betrayed and slain in exchange for their assistance. In the final round of the competition, Raiden loses to Shao Kahn and perishes as a result. This infuriates Kang, who goes on to beat the Emperor and wins the match. The One Being is eventually brought back to life, but Shinnok instantly absorbs its strength to transform into the corrupted Shinnok, putting an end to the joy. While Johnny, Jax, Katana, and Sonya defend the populace from Khan's surviving army with the help of the Elder Gods, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion, Liu Kang fights Shinnok. Shinnok had transformed into a giant, wreaking havoc on the merging realms. Still, with the powers bestowed upon Liu Kang by the Elder Gods, he transformed into a dragon and tried to wrap himself around Shinnok to constrict him, but Shinnok simply threw him away. Then Scorpion destroys the jewel on Shinnok's forehead with the help of Sub-Zero, making him vulnerable. Liu Kang seizes the opportunity to defeat Shinnok by ripping him apart and absorbing the power of the One Being. Once Shinnok has been defeated, the merging of the realms stops immediately.
All too easy.
Show me what you got, old man.
Your life ends now, child.
What makes Shinnok so deadly? Shinnok is a fallen elder god with unfathomable power. His abilities appear to be centered around darkness and Netherrealm. He can raise skeletal hands from the earth to grip and bind, as well as demolish his enemies. Similar to Shang Tsung, he also possesses life force manipulation and shape-shifting abilities. He must either fight them or convince them to serve him, unlike Shang Tsung, who needed to take souls to accomplish this. His ability to replicate the skills and talents of other warriors is unrestricted, yet the capabilities he imitates must fall inside his purview. He also has the ability to change his shape. Because he's missing his amulet and staff, he's unable to replicate every power though. Despite this, he is still free to imitate black magic and negate projectiles, albeit he is unable to imitate Shang Tsung or Quan Chi's abilities for some reason. Shinnok is able to travel freely between realms and open portals because of his amulet. He regains all the colossal strength that befits a fallen elder god with the aid of his amulet. He can trap several individuals inside his amulet, keeping them comatose until they are freed, and wipe creatures into dust. Even more, as proved by Havik, his amulet can create force fields and fireballs, open inter-realm gateways, and devour souls.
No!
Other media appearances of Shinnok. Apart from the video games and the animated movie, Shinnok also appears in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the sequel to the original Mortal Kombat movie that came out in 1997. The design and history of Shinnok in the movie, in which the German actor Rainer Schoen plays him, are different from those in the video games. While he's portrayed in the narrative as the father of both Shao Kahn and Raiden, he has a distinct human look and blonde hair that is neck length. He is not given his full name until right near the very end of the movie. He and Quan Chi are seen together in Netherrealm in the original conclusion sequence, but this shot was removed from the final print.
Greetings. Such blatant mockery. You assume I am not you.
The marvelous verdict. Shinnok is one of the most unpredictable villains in the Mortal Kombat franchise, which has earned him the nickname of the Mad God. Shinnok has a great sense of superiority towards his enemies because of his immense strength and his reputation as an elder god, and he frequently underestimates them. Since his amulet provides a significant portion of Shinnok's power, losing it causes him to noticeably lose strength, which appears to be his only Achilles heel. Thank you so very much for watching. If you like our content, please don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and please be safe.